Hi guys, so today's job is a headlining repair on Bentley Continental. This is a common fault on these cars. In fact, it's a common fault on most cars of a certain age. After 15 years, headlinings start to sag. The Bentley has a leather headlining, so I'm going to save the leather. I'm going to reuse that. It's an embossed leather, so I'm not gonna try and replace it. I'm just going to use the leather that's there. But what I need to do is to remove the headliner from the car, put it on the bench, peel the leather back, get rid of all the old foam that's degraded underneath, put some new foam on, re-glue the leather, and put the headliner back in the car. This is effectively a VW. All the screws, the plugs will have VW logos on them, so it's not much different to most VWs. What I'll need to do is to remove this centerpiece here, the sun visors, the two grab handles here, the little coat hooks in the back, both A-pillars covers, the seals around the side. They come out quite easy, these. There's no B-pillar, so the headlining will just slide straight out quite easily, and the rear view mirror is attached to the screen itself, so that's not an issue. So yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I'll get on with that now. So I'm going to remove the grab handles first. These just have a cover on them. They can be a little bit tricky to get off without damaging them. So these are just held on with little bolts. So there's one here, there'll be one behind there. Same on the opposite side, obviously. So next it's the sun visors. So we need to remove this silver cover here, and the same here on this one. Torx 25s. There we go. And our plug is just in here. That's one off. So it's the same with this here. Take the silver cover off, and then there'll be two Torx screws under there. That just comes off, so that just pops off. And so I now need to remove this little coat hook here. I think there's a bigger Torx one behind here. This little cover here pops off. Oh, just like that. Really easy. So that's the little cover that pops off. So now I need to remove this centre panel here. So there are two screws up in here, so obviously behind this and behind this here. The way to pop these out is to remove the lens from this light here, get my finger in, and my finger's a bit fat, and push, and they pop out. This one's had all its wires cut for some reason. It's had all its wires cut, so obviously that no longer works. Right up in here there are two screws that hold this in place, and they'll be the same Torx screws. And just rest that on the mirror for now. One off. Two off. Three off. 4 off. So that's now completely off, and we have some dangling wires. So I'm going to move into the back, into the wires, do the little two coat hooks in the back, move on to the driver's side, do the sun visor, the grab handle, remove the two A-pillar covers, and then I'll remove all the seals and the headlining should just then, oh no, I've got another fixing behind the light that's in the back. There's a courtesy light over the back seats, so I need to remove, there'll be a screw in there, there has to be, so to hold it in place at the back. So I'll remove the screw that's in there, and obviously then the other sides, and then it should just fall out. So to remove the A-pillar cover I need to remove the screw that is behind here. This just pops off, and it's captive, so it won't fall out. Just behind here is the screw. So remove the rubber. Off. I will take the screw out so I don't lose it. So I don't need to remove it fully, I'll just leave it like that. Now the headlining is completely free at the front end. So the last thing is these two C-pillar covers here. They're held in exactly the same way that the front ones are, so it's just the little airbag cover here that need to pop off and remove the two screws, and then I should be able to pull them away and release the headlining. So they're not captive, and they are on a, looks like an M8 flange nut. Don't want to lose it. I'll put that back in the ashtray there. And there's another nut behind this here. You'll not be able to see it, but there's a nut that holds this part of the headlining on here, so like a metal tang with a hole in it, and there's a nut on there, so I need to get in there, remove that, and then the headlining should come off. There we go, we're off at that side now. So just the opposite side to do now, and the whole headlining should just come out. It's supported at the front at the minute on the two front seats, so the front seats are tilted all the way forward, and that's supporting the headlining at the front. Once I've removed this here, I'll just slide it all forward a little bit, pop the seats backwards to give me room, and slide it out of the aperture here where the two side windows are. I'm just trying to give myself as much room as possible to get this out. There we go. We are now completely loose. Rest of the door. Just going to make sure that nothing is caught on the opposite side. Shouldn't be. There we go. That's out. So there we go, we're on the bench. So these here are the little tangs that hold the headlining at the back of the car. Just make sure they're all okay. Sometimes things like that become a bit of an issue because they become loose. So I need to remove the lights. So anything that is actually attached to the headline I need to remove. These will be fine. These here. These will be fine. Those, I'm only going to be working up to this point here. It's just this middle section, all these two parts that I need to work on. As you can see, there's quite a lot of sagging there, and this will all be glued back in place. So we should all be fine once it's glued. So I'll remove all these lights first, just to get them out of my way. Now I've done that, everything is off that I need to remove at the minute. I need to remove this centre part here, that is attached from the back. So I'm going to flip it over. I'll set the bench first so I don't get the leather damaged. I'll flip it over and then I will remove this section here, and then I can peel these two parts back and replace the foam that's underneath. So the centre section is held on with these star washers. I'm just going to bend a few of the tangs back and one will come off. I'll straighten. So I've just bent a few out. I'm going to straighten them before I put them back on so they stay on better. So they are The big ones are not too bad to get off, but the little ones are an absolute nightmare. There we go, that's off. So I need to remove all of this to this point here. So I'm going to flip it over again now, release the edges here, the edges at the front, around where the aperture is for the little centre overhead lights. Peel all of this back. Check the condition of this foam. If the foam's in good condition and I don't think it's going to degrade, I will keep the foam, but I've got a funny feeling that this foam is beyond that point, because if you see when I roll this bit here, it all comes off. So I need to remove the foam, put a new foam on and then re-glue to that foam. So now it's time to get rid of all this old foam. I'm just using a stiff brush and just brushing it off. I'm going to have to get rid of these metal surrounds here. I'll put these back on once I've replaced the foam. So I've put the foam on to the headliner now. I'm going to put the holes in with a soldering iron. Put this back. So when I re-glue all this here, I've got to make sure all these holes here line up with the leather. That's the most important thing really. So I'm not going to glue everything in one go, I'm just going to glue down this edge first here, just to get that into place, and then I'll start to glue the rest. Make sure glue goes up. Stuff. I'm going to leave that for a little while now. I'll actually put it on a bit wet, just so I can do any adjustment that I needed to do. I think I'll be alright with that now. So now it's time to put the centrepiece back on. So this is now ready to go back in the car, so I'm gonna go and put it in now. So I'm fitting this screw here, so if I need to pivot the front of the headliner to get everything else in place, then it's just held in at a centre point here so I can swing the front. I've not done the 2 bolts that are in the back here for that reason. Once I've got the fixings down the side done and I know it's in the correct position, then I can do the rear bolts. So the next thing is going to be the 2 A-pillar covers. Once the 2 A-pillar covers are in, then I know all 4 corners are completely in place and it should be plain sailing from there. I don't want to jinx myself, but it should be relatively plain sailing. They're on. I'll put the rubber on all the way now. So I'll actually screw these in later. So now I can do the rest. I can do the fixings here. I will do the centre piece here first. Plug everything back in. Attach that. So then we'll have all 4 corners and the 2 centres done. And yeah, we're nearly there. Oh no. You know what I've done? I've lost my cable. I'm going to have to drop this now at the front and locate my cable. So I will probably just remove one side just to be able to get my hand in. There is one cable with a pink end on it which is attached to the headliner that does the things in the rear and the lights here. So I now need to go and find it. So that was the offending cable. You can see that it runs out of here, so it was somewhere around here, so it wasn't too bad. Now I need to plug all this in. Pink one in first. I need a torch for this. Can't really see much. Another way. other way. That one goes in there. That's everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing else. There we go. So there's just the 2 screws for here. I'll put those in. That will then bring the headliner tight at the front there. That's one in.